how do you embrace failure and work at the edges? I don't know about you, but I hate failing. But I have a long history of failing, as I think most innovators do. Now, in order to embrace failure, there's three things you have to remember. The first is failure is inevitable. I want you to think about trying to learn a new language or play an instrument. It doesn't matter whether you're 8 or 80. You're going to go through the failure cycle because all learning is developmental. That's true in any particular area, but it's particularly true in innovation where you're trying to do something new. Now that leads us to the second point, which is very important. Innovators don't try to avoid the failure cycle. Instead, they try and accelerate it. They try and go faster. That's why if you're trying to learn a new language, what you do is you go live in a foreign country where you're immersed and you're going to have to deal with trying to interact with that language, and you're going to go through this failure cycle very quickly. It's the same thing that venture capitalists do when they give angel investment to a wide array of people. What they're trying to do is very quickly accelerate the failure cycle to learn what works and what doesn't. Now the third thing is you want to forget the 80-20 rule. Forget the 80-20 rule. You want to remember the 20-80 rule. And the 20-80 rule is it's easier to change 20% of your company 80% than it is to change 80% of your company 20%. That's also true for individuals. So I want you to think of a bell curve for a minute. Just think of a bell curve. When people really change is when they're in a crisis. And the reason they change is the risk of trying something radical. And the reward of staying where they're at is reversed. Whether you've got a drinking problem or whether you've got a gambling problem, you have to get to the bottom first. Then you're willing to do something radical. The same is true when you're really on a roll and something is going very well. So innovation doesn't happen from the inside out. It happens from the outside in. So ways of dealing with failure, know it's going to happen, accelerate it, and work from the outside in.